I was recently feeling a little bit overwhelmed, feeling like I had a lot of work to do and I wasn't where I wanted to be. I kept thinking through all the things I could have done differently, how I could have been more efficient, and I think I kind of started to get into the cycle where I was undervaluing myself. And I think in the work that I do, I work in media and I work in kind of several different genres. I'm constantly having to put forward how much I'm worth. It gets to this point where I'm literally putting a value on myself. And sometimes I think it's easy to start undervaluing myself and to question whether I'm worth it. And I think honestly, a lot of us do this, where we start to question ourselves and wonder, are we of value, or how much value are we worth? And our brain can take hold of us and bring us in all these different directions and all these different negative thoughts. So I do have a previous video on confidence because I do think I've built a lot more confidence over the past few years, but I wanted to speak more specifically to what it looks like to undervalue yourself and then what you can do about it to stop undervaluing yourself. The first thing I want to say about this topic is just that value is really all perception. If you think about it, any number on anything is based on our perception of how much that is worth. For example, a house or a car, even the idea of luxury, it's just truly subjective and it's all in the eye of the beholder, whether something is luxurious or not, whether it's of value or not. I feel like I've heard the story so many times where there's some famous artist who during their lifetime wasn't very successful, didn't make much money, but after their deaths, their work was worth thousands or even millions of dollars. I think art in general is often a thing where it's just in the eye of the beholder, whether it's impactful to you, whether it's meaningful to you, and that ends up turning into an actual financial number in many cases. But I think this idea of value can translate beyond just monetary or a number. It can also be how much you actually care about something or respect something, and how much you really value yourself as a person. The problem is, if you don't put value on yourself, are you going to miss out on opportunities because you're just afraid to put yourself out there? Are you not going to join groups for fun and do hobbies because you think you won't be good enough? Are you not going to apply for that dream job? Are you not going to ask for a raise? Are you not going to take the time to really care for yourself, both physically and mentally? I think by not valuing yourself, you're not going to take those healthy risks that really allow you to sort of improve your lifestyle and achieve your dreams. So if this is a problem, then I think the question becomes, how do you increase your value? And I think immediately, at least a lot of us probably jump to thinking, how can we increase the value that others perceive us to be? So how do other people perceive our value, and how can we just enhance that? And I honestly think the best way to improve our own value to others is to see more value in ourselves. Because once we see more value in ourselves, we can take those healthy risks. We can put ourselves out there. We can care for ourselves with more sensitivity and thought. We also will exude more confidence, more self-assurance, and just the sense that we're worth more. And again, value is all about perception. And so if you perceive yourself as worth more, other people will too. So then, of course, the question becomes, well, how do I start thinking of myself as having more value? And I think that's a tough one, and there are a bunch of different strategies. I think one obvious one is just catching yourself when you're having those limiting beliefs or negative self-talk, when you're thinking to yourself, I can't, when you notice that happening, replacing it with a positive thought like, what if I tried this out and I actually could do it? I think catching ourselves in the moment when we're having those negative thoughts can be really impactful. But I feel like I've talked about that before in this channel, and I want to discuss something else. One technique that I think can really improve your sense of self and your sense of accomplishment, and therefore your sense of value. And that is to stop thinking so much in the short term when you're thinking about your worth and think in a really long-term way. So basically what I mean is that I think in the day-to-day, we can get so caught up in thinking about what we should be doing, what we could be doing better, like Am I procrastinating a little bit too much today? Am I not doing things today as efficiently as I could? I got that one thing done today, but I didn't get the most important thing done today, and I should have. And we can get so caught up in immediate failures of the day-to-day that we forget in the long term how much we've actually accomplished. So one thing I kind of recommend actually, if you want to build that self-value, is actually just think over the course of the last year. What have you accomplished? How are you different? What have you accomplished in work? Where were you then? Where are you now? I'm sure you've done some work of some sort in the past year that is an accomplishment and that you can feel good about. But it doesn't just have to be work. It can also be, how have I been to my family? How have I built my friendships or my community in some way? How have I built on my hobbies and explored those in fun ways? Maybe if you've had a tough year, it's actually just a year of learning lessons, of growth, of being able to look back and having wisdom that you didn't have before because you went through this challenging year. I honestly think that if you take a step back from your life and look at a longer period of time, like say a year or maybe even the past 5 years, you will find that you accomplished far more than maybe you thought you did, and that there is something to feel really good about, and that you do bring something to the table, that you are of value, whether it be caring for others, being there for others, or being really good at work, or really good at some other task. There's something that you've accomplished and something you've contributed to the world, and you just have to step back and see it. I think we can get so caught up in the day-to-day to-dos that we don't get done and getting behind on things, or getting ahead in one area but feeling like we're falling behind in another. And then we start to have this negative cycle. But if we just focus on the big picture, what have I accomplished? I think that will actually fuel us to be more productive in the day-to-day and to also take more of those healthy risks where we're going for things that we really want. Because once we go for it, I think it's more likely that we're going to achieve things and get to where we want to be. Just remember that ultimately, value is perception. And so you can decide to change how you value yourself, and it may even change how others value you. Although ultimately, I think what's most important is how you see yourself. Let me know in the comments if any of you have experiences of struggling with self-worth, or if there's specific strategies that work for you. And as always, if you ended up enjoying the video, hit the thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe below. Both those things really support the channel, so I'd appreciate it. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.